start. We're live. Okay, thank you all for coming for the Wareham Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight it's May 11, 2022, and we are at the Multi-Service Center, room 320, 54 Marion Road in Wareham, and it is 6:36 p.m. I want to call the meeting to order, and whoever, also I guess Zoom is open. Also, I make a roll call to my far right. Ms. Veronica Debonese, regular member. Our associate member, Mr. Troy Larson. Our clerk, Mr. Jim Akabachi. My far left, Mr. Jake Morrison. It's a Richard Sample, and myself, the chair, Nazi Akulasi. I don't think we have any preliminary business to do. We'll go with the continued public hearing for 8-22 David Surgery on the site plan 8 and 10 Charchmont Road, 1035 and 1076 on map 110. All right, just give us a minute.
This looks like new stuff. Is there anything, is this all new?
Yeah, on top
That's for the
will be the amended plan to pass out.
all right.
So, here's one. Takes care of that into the table. Takes care of that into one for Veronica. One, I know what I,
Okay.
one for you. I know this must be the. That's all. Official copy. Do we need your big presentation from last week?
Not unless you want it.
We've all seen it. Does anybody need to have it for the,
I'm good right now.
No.
you could take it home, put it under your pillow, help you sleep?
No, I don't think it'll help me sleep.
It won't help you sleep?
I wish it would.
Okay.
All right, this matter, Mr. Troy Larson will be voting on this matter because he started it. Jake wasn't here. All right, public hearing still open.
Okay.
And let's take it, name and address, and let's hear it.
Attorney Jillian Morton, 184 Main Street, Wareham.
Sam Imelli, JC Engineering.
Okay,
And so we're here today after receiving Mr. Rowley's site plan review letter last week. And JC Engineering and Sam were able to put a response letter together to let you take a look at that. I think what's poignant here is going through perhaps the different changes we've made on this plan. And I can go into a couple of the items which we would be requesting a waiver from. Most specifically is the requirement for landscape architect that's under 1031 in our code on site plan review on buildings over 5,000 square feet. We'd be looking for that waiver on this application due to all the circumstances, the fact that this is a landscape company. We provided a landscape plan here within our site plan packet. And I don't think there was anything in regards to that last time we were meeting as far as where he has the trees and that. So we'd seek a waiver from that requirement to have a formal landscape architect. But perhaps if you want to take a look at the new plan, and Sam can kind of go through the nuances. A lot of it was just adding notation, but there wasn't really any big changes to where that building is. And if you want to go into anything else in regards to Mr. Rowley's letter, I'd be happy to go through. Some of it was regarding the variances, which we worked on the last time we were here. So I say let's look at the site plan in particular. Sam knows the nuances of that, so.
all right, so there's no sense going through all the variant stuff. So let's address the issue about the site plan,
Right.
okay? So which part you address his answer, which part you have a different answer?
Like I said, only landscaping we actually asked for waivers on.
Okay.
the variances, as we talked about, Charlie made mention a few times in the letter about moving the site layout in order to maintain the 40-foot buffer, but it was decided by the board last time we're considering this commercial use, and we hold the 20-foot buffer. Aside from that, the minor changes, very minor, adding stop signs to the entrances, adding crosswalks and handicap ramps, adding lights at each entrance near Charge Pond Road, increasing the curb radiuses of the entrances. Aside from that, it was mainly just adjusting the construction details on pages 7 and 8, and some of the verbiage in our overview letter. He also requested that we complete a full stormwater management report, which we have completed and submitted to the board.
Also, I'd like to add, I spoke personally to the chief regarding the fire. One of the comments in Charlie's letter was regarding fire approval, which, being able to make sure they have access to get around that building. And he said that they took a look at it. They have no comments at this time with the plan, no problem with it. Certainly, too, I know, speaking to my client, he has big landscape, the trucks with the trailer being able to loop around that, so he has access to do that. And when the building permit, when they apply for that, they'll also look into that. So there's no issue as far as the fire department goes.
What, Sam, on the entrance radius, okay, you increased it to 28 feet, or the width?
On the second entrance, the radius was increased from 15 to 20 per Mr. Rowley's request.
Wouldn't you think if you go 30 it'd be better? That's a sharp cut, and they have a lot of trailers coming in, tractor trailers, you're gonna climb over that curb easy. I always like coming in at 50. You have plenty of room. Coming in, leaving 30 is good.
Right. We do also have a 28-foot wide.
28 is nice, but you curb, you want, coming in, you want the 50. I recommend the 50. The town recommend, the bylaw says 30, but coming in, if you win a state highway, the state will tell you 50, and I agree with it. Believe me, even with 50, even with 50, you'll have people climbing over the curb and stuff. Just keep it in mind for right now. The one coming in 50 is leaving with 30, and like I said, you have plenty of room. You doing the entrances with granite?
We have added construction entrances for both entrances.
What's the curb? What are you doing for curb?
Curbing, he's
The curb.
asking what the curbing.
Oh, the curbing will be Cape Cod berm.
Coming in?
Yes, which is, that's what exists on Charge Pond Road currently.
I'd like to see coming in the property with the granite.
With granite.
Now the bylaw calls for concrete too. You need a waiver for Cape Cod berm. Bylaws call all the way concrete, all the way in the parking lot. So we're gonna ask the board for a waiver to go berm. Apparently you wanna go with berm, right?
Right.
Okay, but definitely coming in will be concrete and 5-inch, not slanted, so it can handle the plows and stuff.
Right.
And it'll be way better job for your client, believe me, trucks in and out, trailers, all that.
You're talking just at the two entrances?
The two entrances all the way coming in the property before you start curving on the parking lot.
Okay.
Straight, not slanted. Coming in from here, the first entrance, coming in, if you're coming from Charchmont from the Y, I don't think you're gonna have the luxury for 50 feet. You don't have that. See, if you maximize this, maybe in the second one you do the 50.
Second one, right. And that'll
But
be,
most likely, your trucks, mostly they're gonna be coming on the first entrance. Try as much as you can. Do it, instead of making 28 feet wide, go like to 22, 24, and do the 50 coming in. Or, I don't think you're gonna be able to fit it, but do maybe 35 or 30, or as much as you can over 30.
okay.
All right, and, talk about I guess the sign, you know, it's over there, is only 2 square feet, so you guys are okay with that, right?
Right, yep.
Let me, I wanna pass it all to the board, but let me, the things in my head, let me go through it. Design, commercial use, okay, the buffer. The fire department, so they wanna look at the plan, right? They didn't decide.
No, they've looked at it, and they had no comment.
No comments, okay.
Who was that, the fire department?
Yeah, Chief Kelly and Chris Smith as well.
The stormwater management, did Mr. Rowley go through it? Did he approve it, or you are just addressing it back to him?
We initially submitted one, and he asked for a complete stormwater report, so that is what we submitted earlier this morning.
All right. Okay, I'm just gonna start with the board questions, and I guess we're gonna have to do the adjustment and have Mr. Rowley go through it, and hopefully next hearing, we'll come back with no red repairing thing or comments. Let's start with Veronica, please.
So you're requesting a waiver for the landscape, for a registered architect to create a landscape design. So I guess I would have a few questions about that. I personally would like to see something on paper, what your design intent is going to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be by a registered architect, I guess, but I would like to have an idea of what's planned. And then I guess my other question or comment would be in that regard is that an architect would be looking closely at the bylaws in that design, so I would want to make sure that that's done for whatever you decide to put on there. That's one of the things that I would be concerned with.
I will just point out that on the plan, we do show locations of landscape plantings as well on one of the detail sheets. I believe it's sheet 8. We call for a planting schedule as well as showing a few details on tree plantings and shrub plantings.
If you don't have numbers, of shrubs and trees, quantities,
Right.
you gotta have a schedule with the quantities. I think that's what Veronica wanna see as well, right?
Yes,
Schedule of quantities.
right.
There's on the plant schedule. There is a full table there.
You said
Right.
page
Sheet
8.
3 or?
Three shows the locations. On sheet 8 shows the schedule
Plant schedule. You know,
with sizes.
we wouldn't be asking for a waiver unless, I mean, this is a landscape design, this is what he does.
I
You
do-
understand where we're coming from with that, so.
Definitely, we do, I definitely agree, but we'd like to see if he's saying we put in abrevieties,
Right,
how many?
yeah,
That's what the landscape and architect would do. So if you want a waiver, at least you want to match what the
So
landscape
you're
and
saying,
architect
on
does.
this sheet 8 where it says plant schedule, you just want to see them put
the
a
number of
number in front of
plants.
each line? Is that what you
How
mean?
many trees,
Quantity.
yes.
It says Acer, Rebrium, October Glory, how many of them? That's what you, that's,
Right, for
and
instance,
so forth and so on down the list?
right, and and then it will have the abbreviation for each tree. Just pull any, you guys used a lot, the architecture, the landscape and architect. Just put the abbreviation, so it's, like I said, it has to look like a, and you guys will stamp it, I'm sure, but it has to look like one.
Right.
With the numbers, with the abbreviation of the tree, of, for the, like, I think the happy returns are HC, something like that. They have abbreviation and as well as numbers. You have the size, and you have the sizes, which is good. Okay, next, Veronica, what else?
That's my only comment for the moment. I just need some time to review what's there.
Thank you.
Troy,
I don't have anything right now.
Jimmy?
I'm good with waiving the architect, the landscape architect. It looks to me, going through Mr. Rowley's and their responses, it looks like they've been very responsive, receptive to suggestions, with the exception of the few comments you've made in the landscape business. I'm fine with what I've seen. I'm good
Okay,
on this. I'm ready to make a positive vote whenever we're ready to vote.
All right, and the lighting, you addressed Mr. Rowley's comment on lighting. So we want that, I'm ready to do positive vote, but not tonight. I just want to go back to Mr. Rowley, come back with these things that it's addressed, okay? Before I go to Rich, couple of things, 1 second. All right, Richard, what do you think?
I'm glad to see that they were very responsive to Mr. Rowley's letter, and they were proactive at it, and they took care of it. And I also went by, I think they did some work on the catch basin out on the street where it floods all the time. It seems like somebody moved that or did whatever, but only one concern I'd have is you're not storing any chemicals or anything like that. It's just strictly stone, loam, crushed stone, things
Right.
like that.
Right,
And you're
that-
storing it, you're not making it, so it's not industrial, it's not like you're doing anything. All you are is a middleman on that.
Diesel
Right.
fuel and high nitrogen fertilizer.
I was just concerned, you get in that area with a lot of water, I just wouldn't want anything leaking into the groundwater. So if they were gonna have anything with pesticides or anything like that, I'd be looking for some kind of a security area, but I've gone through it, I'm pretty satisfied with everything.
Let's see, they get fertilizer and keep it in the building. Because we don't wanna restrict a permit, and then they in violation.
No,
but
I
I'm
just
sure
said
they're
if
gonna
they-
have to use
They
fertilizer.
said they're not gonna store it out there, so I'm going by their word for it.
And we've gone through at his current location, he went through conservation in depth for an order of conditions, which has a lot of wetlands on Marion Road, so he's pretty familiar with all that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask, we're looking at a tight timeframe for this. And I understand your comments regarding having another review. But I would ask if it is possible, if it's going to go favorable tonight, to be able to do that. I understand your access concerns. I don't think that, though, he would be preparing a plan where he can't get those trucks in there right now. Right now, he just has a small window on Marion Road. So I don't know if that's something that can be done tonight, or we are gonna have to go back for another review.
Am I hearing that your lease is expiring?
There's a lot of different factors. This is under agreement. It has been extended quite a bit. Now that we have the variances, we're waiting to close until it's entitled.
Right,
So,
but we definitely, all the board members are for the positive for this.
I can't see why we'd be holding it up on the amount of shrubs. I mean, they got a proposal, they could just move it
Whatever, I
forward.
mean, if that's what the board wants, it doesn't matter to me.
Can we make a vote, subject to, and
Yeah, you can.
make them put stuff in after the fact? That way they can go forward with their, what are you looking to go in there and start clearing trees? Is that what you're looking to get
They
a?
gotta close first.
Close on the property, obviously, as a landscape company, it's very sensitive on when he can, he's in the peak of his season, but when he can actually get building and all that. So I understand that's not necessarily your problem. I just wanted to articulate that to the board. I think we got these from Mr. Rowley last Thursday, and Sam was able to get this all together today for you, because we really wanted to, be prepared today to be able to have a vote.
Veronica, you ready to take a vote today?
I'm in favor of the project, but I do think there are some details that I haven't really had a lot of time to look at this, and I do want to look at it. But I think if we take a vote and then, work out the minor details, I'm fine with doing something like that.
Can we give them a yes and make them come back in 2 weeks and prove to us that
Yeah,
and
we
make
can.
'em-
I guess we can,
give them a
right?
provisional yes, and
Yeah, I guess. Troy, you go,
Yeah, I agree.
or Jimmy, you agree with that?
I'm
And
good
apparently
with it.
Rich.
Okay.
Jake, do you have any comment?
I'd like
No
to know
comment.
if there's anybody here from the neighborhood that wants to squawk before we,
Yeah.
I noticed there was a letter sent to us, so there was one
Okay.
I didn't-
Anyone in here want to speak in favor of this project or against? Okay, I see none. What letter?
What's the,
In the email, I believe there was a lady, been living there for 70 years, wrote a
oh, it's
positive
very in
letter.
the, very much in the, it got read in last week.
Yep.
She was very much in favor. How about, on Zoom? Is there anybody waving at us on Zoom? I'd like to make a motion that we close the public portion of this hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Oh, second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose, abstain.
Okay.
All right, I guess it's closed.
I'd like to make a motion that we give a provisional approval, subject to the applicant coming back. All standard conditions and everything that's been
So
discussed
subject
this
that-
evening has to be satisfied at the next meeting, or we're gonna have to make him cease his construction until the board is satisfied.
Yeah, we have the 20 days anyways for the.
I understand.
Right. We'd like also to run it by Mr. Rowley to get a good, clean bill of health as much as we can.
Okay.
And whatever's left over, we could just throw out.
We just wanna let you keep going. We wanna
You know.
keep you moving in the right direction.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
As far as the traffic study goes, I know doesn't have anything to do with it, but I don't know who did the traffic study for the Minot School, but if anybody's tried to go by the Minot School between the hours of 3 and 3:30 and seen the backup all the way up Minot Ave is a dead street for over 45 minutes.
I went by today, yeah. That's the school.
It's ridiculous, so that these traffic studies, I don't have very much faith in, so, but if that's something that we have to have,
Well, they did a study, and they said there was traffic.
yeah. Well, that's just it, the studies,
Another lane.
Yeah.
You need a lane.
I mean, the school was there, it is what it is.
So we have a motion.
Yeah, go ahead, what's the motion?
I made the motion, I'm just looking for a second.
I second.
So can you say the motion again?
The motion is that we're gonna give them a provisional approval, subject to them being here in 2 weeks or at our next meeting, and bringing evidence that they've satisfied all our concerns that have been brought up this evening, and anything that Mr. Rowley might whine about between now and then.
Okay.
And if Mr. Rowley's listening, he'll really love the word wine. It's not a red wine, it's not a white wine, it's a rosé.
All right, I also asked Mr. Sergi if he I'm sure they're gonna have to use fertilizer, and I hate to say on the permit, no fertilizer, and
Well,
they get in
if
trouble.
they've got it stored inside on a concrete floor.
Right.
There's not a problem.
Okay,
If they're not storing it outside, I
okay.
mean, if they're storing it outside, then there's an issue. But if
Right.
it's inside, it's on a concrete floor,
Because I
it's
have
on a drain.
sprinkler, right.
They've got a drain in there, so
Building's
they'll be
fine.
able to handle it.
Yeah,
That's,
okay,
I'm good with it. He's been handling it just fine the way he is, and I trust
Right.
that he's gonna continue to handle it the way
yeah,
he has.
inside, I don't wanna say, oh, no fertilizer on the property, and he
No.
gets in trouble.
No,
It's good that it's brought up, so that way we
We
can
could
say
condition it not to be stored
outside
outside,
storage.
no outside of fertilizer.
I think that he's gonna do his best.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
sure,
brought it
I'm
up.
sure,
As
absolutely.
long as it's
but-
inside, but if it's stored outside, there needs to be a special area for it, and so I believe that he will store it on the inside.
All right,
Weather's not its best friend. Any moisture is not its friend at
no.
all.
Okay, so on that motion, do I have a second?
Rich seconded it, I think.
Rich, second?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, oppose, abstain. Carries. See you on now.
Did you
On
aye
the
or
25th.
abstain? Naz, did
No,
you?
no, I said aye.
Okay, it's
500.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the 25th.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck with the project, by the way. We'll be seeing you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
So we got Cindy Bulu coming up.
All right.
Let's put all this back
You
in
gotta
the...
sign, what is that, please?
Yeah.
You gotta write all what you said.
We gotta write and sign and...
Oh, yeah, it's
Sorry. Do you want, can I write this after and get everybody's signatures? I can write it,
Yeah, okay, we can write it.
okay?
All right, for the next continued public hearing, 11-22,
Thank you.
Cindy Bolo,
She's sitting there.
special permit for 413 Street. All right, we must have opened that public hearing and continued last week, didn't we?
Nope, I gotta read it. I just wanted to make sure I get this in the
It's-
folder
it's
before.
show and continue
Can you-
public hearing.
Huh, did this get opened already?
I was supposed to come on the 27th, but somehow I got left off the agenda, so I couldn't
Yeah,
come
I
on
was
the
gonna say, I've
27th.
never even seen this. I just went through the whole thing and looked at it. I've never looked at it before. This is the first
I
time
don't-
it's come here.
If we get it, I'll get the folder out, but let's get that other paper back in. Who's signing? Who's got the signature? Just bear with us for 1 minute.
Sure.
You know what, let's leave it here, let's get that
Okay.
folder.
Okay. I wanna put a,
Is there an agenda from last week here somewhere?
Yes, I do. I have one.
We have one?
She, brings it.
I don't remember reading it.
As she said, she was on the,
Oh.
she wasn't put on the agenda, so she hasn't been in here.
All right, so it's,
So it's just a-
it's
it's-
under new public hearing, not continued.
New.
Oh, is that
And we'll read it in, but we'll get these handed.
Okay, just,
There's one for you and two.
actually, sit right, please.
Those guys have done it.
Yeah, well, Jake,
Signatures on
no.
the last one, you and Veronica. Just bear with us.
Yep.
And you and Veronica. While we're signing, I'm gonna read this in just for the sake of time. If that's okay, Naz?
Yeah, go ahead.
The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on April 27th, 2022, at 6:30 PM in room, so there it was advertised for the 27th, I'm reading it. In room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 11-22 for a special permit from the non-conforming structure requirements of Article 13, Section 1355, under the Wareham zoning bylaws, to Cindy A. Bulu of 413th Street, Wareham, Mass. 02538, seeking to correct a violation done by the previous owner located at 413th Street, Wareham, Mass. 02538, that appears on Assessors Map 1, Lot 341, in the Onset Village 2 zoning district.
Now, I just gotta warn you, it says April 27. If for some reason we grant you what you're asking for and somebody appeal you, it might go sour. I don't think somebody's gonna appeal you, but if they do, because it's advertised for the 27, and here we are on May 11. For
Yeah.
some reason, the town made a mistake.
Yeah, Aaron emailed me on the 25th, I would think it was, saying that he apologized, he didn't put me on the agenda, and there wasn't 48 hours notice, and you can't be on their agenda without
Well, let me
48
tell,
hours notice.
the right way to do it, this is the right way. I know you're not building a Walmart. If Walmart was doing this, they would say, okay, we'll come back, re-advertise and do it right for big project, when we have a lot of people screaming, and it could jeopardize the decision in court. In this matter, I don't think anybody cares, and hopefully nobody, neighbor cares and appeal you,
Okay.
which I don't think they would, but, okay?
Let's
Just-
hear-
But I have to tell you.
Yeah.
All right, first, I need your name and address for the records.
Okay, Cindy Bulu, 413th Street, Onset, Mass. 02558.
All right, and now tell us what brought you here.
Okay, so I purchased the home on 413th Street on February 10th, with the
Okay.
understanding that the previous owner had exceeded a permit she was allowed and was in violation.
And you
I'm not
knew
sure-
that?
Huh?
And you knew that?
And I knew that. David Arquette had been in touch with me and my real estate agent, and he said, I'm probably saying his name wrong, Rinquin? Is that
The
right?
Queen.
Queen.
Yeah, so he said he had known about the permit, but when he went by the house, he saw the owner was doing something she was not part of the permit. But he went by and he said, I don't think it's anything crazy. She took care of what needed to be taken care of. The electrical inspector came. They just asked me to replace the fire alarms because they weren't the same fire alarms. And I had an electrician come and check all the outlets in the room, and everybody said it was fine, but I needed to get your approval on what was done. So I don't have any like building plans or anything, I just have what she submitted, and then what she actually did.
I thought I read in the letter that there was a permit pulled for floors and a few other things, but then there was an addition being put on.
Right, I think she enhanced a room that was there, she made the ceiling taller and like did all the plaster and everything, whereas she only asked to replace some shingles and rip up a rug and fix a window. So she exceeded what she was supposed to do. So she was notified that she exceeded and she needed to appear in front of you people, but I guess she didn't want to do that.
So she sold it to you.
Yes.
Now, did she do that little addition in the front? It's like 4 by 8.
Nazi, he has a question.
Sonia just wanted to clarify, Aaron forgot to put it on the last agenda, so she just wanted to clarify that.
We got it.
Okay.
Who's that?
Sonia
Sonia.
sent a message.
Sonia
here,
just
so-
messaged me and let me know.
Okay. All right, thank you. Was that addition was built? Do you have a plan? You see that little piece with JC
I
Engineering?
have, what she submitted for the original permit.
Is that a screen porch in the front of your house?
No, so she didn't do a lot of stuff that is on this proposed site plan.
Yeah.
She did not do a lot of that stuff.
She moved the shed.
I don't know if she moved the shed, but it's the room towards the back of the house. It was never quite clear, was it a bedroom or an enclosed porch? But what she did is raise the ceiling on it and then redid the walls and put in electricity and everything. So, I don't know how to explain it on the drawing.
Do you have a structural engineer letter about raising the floor, the roof, and, I mean, the ceiling and everything?
I don't have, actually, I don't have anything in writing. Like I said, David
Eric
came with another David, and I had a contractor there who all agreed that whatever she did, it wasn't really that big of a change to the room. The main thing was that she exceeded her permit, and she didn't have any verification that she used licensed people to do what was done.
Excuse me, exceeded or expired her permit?
Exceeded.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep, sorry.
No, just making sure I'm listening.
Yeah, so, what David said was to have the electrician come, check all the outlets, which I did do, and change the fire alarms because they weren't talking to each other. And the building inspector was there, and he said he didn't see anything. And I'm trying to think if it was the water or I think it was the water guy was there, but he said he didn't see anything on that end.
It's not our problem, the water, but
So,
I think the best bet in this matter, at least a couple of us should go visit the place. And I will talk to 2 Davids, one there.
2 Davids,
Okay.
and,
I'll talk to both of them myself tomorrow.
and Aaron said the electrician, my electrician that I paid, pulled a permit, and he brought the town electrician inspector to the house. but-
Electrical is not our jurisdiction. It don't matter if you do it right or wrong, we can't act on it.
No, I just wanted to say, but I couldn't get anything in writing, because I guess he doesn't actually work for the town anymore, so,
It doesn't, yeah, electric.
that's
and-
fine.
Our concern is like setbacks, heights, perimeter areas, things like this. Even if the beam is not strong enough, it's not a problem. We don't have jurisdiction to tell you put a big beam or small beam. So that's the building inspector, not us. So I don't know how the board feels about it. Maybe we ask a few questions, go pay a visit there. Or if the board feeling
I'm
otherwise,
reading the violation notice here,
but it's old.
April 2021, yeah. Well, what, my point is that it appears that the violation is that she tore something down without permit, and then she built without permit. So that's at this right here on the bottom of the page here, R108.6, R105.1.
Right, so this is why I would like to ask him, how does he feel about it after he wrote this letter? So that's a year ago.
It would be nice if the building inspector went there and informed us, are there any outstanding violations right now?
Exactly. Or if they, or if they are, what are they?
Exactly.
So in other words, we don't know what we're voting for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I apologize. David said he was gonna write you a recommendation letter, so I thought he would explain everything in there, so I apologize.
Which David, Requena or Moore?
Requena.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't see one. I've been looking for it.
In this letter that we're referencing to from April 7th, 2021, I was looking at the original violation notice. We don't have a date on when that original violation went out. We just have the 2021 when he was referencing it and saying that several years this has been going on.
Right. And there was supposed to be a fine, $1,000 per day. So we don't know what we're voting for. So, anyone here in the audience want to speak in favor or against this project? Okay, I see none. Anyone on Zoom? This is what I suggest. You live in a house, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like you in a hotel or something, okay.
No.
I suggest we'll continue this until the next hearing. In between, whoever has a chance, I will call, and anybody else would like to go see Dave Moore or call Requena and clarify, and we get as much data as we can.
I believe a simple letter stating all the
That'd be
things
nice.
would help us out.
What was taken care of,
There's
what
too many
wasn't.
people in the middle, we'll have
Right.
too many different ideas. We need structure to know what we're dealing with.
And there's a lot of letters here, so we want to see where we at right now. And maybe if you don't mind, we'll visit the house and see to ourselves after we ask a few questions, and we go from there.
Well, I'm wondering about, so, in May 2018, JC Engineering, we have the site plan there. Did your bank have you didn't have to do any kind of surveys or site stuff to get your loan? You
No.
just had probably like a house inspection?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's the setbacks, I mean, somebody should be
Right.
checking the setbacks off of this, off of
Well,
the
what
site
I'm
plan
gonna
that
do, I wanna
exists.
keep this with me. If somebody wanna take this with them, that's fine. When you visit, see what's there, what's not there, what's been done, what's not been done, and then we'll address it from there. I don't you didn't get a mortgage on that, did you?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
you
I got a
did?
mortgage. Yep.
And the bank gave you a mortgage, huh, with all the violations?
Yes, as long as I signed a waiver saying that I was aware of the violation, but I had been communicating, like I said, very
They
diligently.
usually want you firstborn, and they must love you.
I had been going back and forth with David, with my realtor, and David kept saying, yes, it's really not that big of a deal.
I believe you, you know, because usually when there's a problem, everybody makes big deal out of it, then everybody comes down and check it out and realize it's not big of a deal and work it out. So that's what we're gonna do, I guess, right? Whoever have a chance, whoever wants to go look at the property, keep an application, which I will.
So-
And I'll talk to both Davids and we'll see where we are.
To clarify too, it looks like, right, this from J.C. Engineering is May 11th, 2018. Her application was for 2017. So J.C. Engineering, this is what they proposed to do.
But it wasn't all done what they proposed.
Right.
Yeah, she just
Okay.
really, it was one room, and like I said, I believe it was part of the house, which
Okay,
she refurbished, but that's not what she asked for on the permit, so that's why she got the violation. She didn't ask, could she do all that she did?
So is this area that we're talking about, is that little, when I look at the plans, I see a little area that there was a bump out, and then there's a, let me get to that page.
it's actually in the back. It looks like it's in the front, it's in the back.
Yes, it's in the back.
Mm.
If you're facing it from the
Yeah,
street, it's
so I
on
see
the right
13th
side.
Street, so it looks in the back, and it was a 3'7" by 8'5" little addition put on there.
Well, she don't know if it's done, that's what she's saying.
Well, it's on there, so it looks like
It says
that was a-
proposed though,
Are you looking at the proposed site plan, Rick?
but maybe it was never built.
Which,
See, that's why we should
there's
do
no
that.
page on it.
The
Because I'm
J.C.
looking at,
Engineering plan is
It's-
a proposed, not
It's
an
the one
as-built.
that's dated for the 2018, 5/11,
Right.
2018.
oh, yeah, me too. That's the one I'm looking at, too. Because there's a couple
So, I
in the
mean,
front.
then
You
we'd
have
just
the,
be looking at increased on FAR if that was a bedroom or anything like that, right?
That's,
So that's why we
Yeah,
need
we don't know.
clarification on all
Yeah.
that.
all right, so can we get a motion, continue this until 25th?
Absolutely, so moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose, abstain. So we'll see you back on the 25th. I will talk to the building inspector, get a letter what's left to be addressed, so we know where we're acting upon. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for buying her house.
I get a lot of thank
I think
yous.
the person that sold it should be thanking you for buying it. Not too many buyers should buy it under those circumstances.
All right.
Anything, you guys need to send anything back in, so we
This
don't...
I need with me.
I'm gonna keep mine. in case I'm running
Jake,
out
you
of-
keeping yours?
Just bring it with
or
you next hearing.
Keeping it? Or you-
Actually, I'll take your word, guys.
All right,
There you
also,
go. It's easier, right?
it does say under continue public hearing, but it is a new public hearing, which is 12-22 Enterprise Rent-A-Car,
You keeping or...
2196 Cranberry Highway.
Okay, you keeping, Troy?
Yeah, I'll keep,
Okay.
I'll go by.
I just want to be able to close the folder at... Okay. Now we're looking at... That's you, right? Yeah. Okay. And this says chairman, so I'll let you have Morrison. Semple, look at this, they're all named for different people. I guess we get different. Ekabachi.
Well, that's
this-
not fair.
Wow. That way there, they can let you see what
Your
you
name
want to
there.
see.
There you go.
Debonese, see if there's one here for, oh, look at Larson gets one, a fancy cover.
Scares me. It sounds like we all got separate honey-do lists over here.
Yeah. Planning office.
All right.
We always give everybody a hard time. Okay, I need to read, right?
Yep.
Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing, May 11th, 2022, 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 12-22 for a use variance from the requirements of Section 313 under the Wareham zoning bylaws to Enterprise Rent-A-Car of Company of Boston LLC of 406 West Street, West Bridgewater, Mass. 02324, proposing to repurpose an existing building with site improvements as a motor vehicle rental facility located at 2196 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Mass. That appears on Assessors Map 1000, can't be 1000, we don't have an Assessors Map 1000, Lot 103 in Commercial Strip zoning. I'm thinking that might be Assessors Map 100, but
100, yeah. Okay,
Extra
for this
zero.
matter, our regular member, Mr. Jake Morrison, will be sitting. So you have 5 board members, just name and addresses, and let's hear it.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Attorney Tim Chiaffoni on behalf of Enterprise Rent-A-Car Company of Boston, LLC. My address is 191 Main Street in Wareham.
Kate O'Neill with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, 405 West Street, West Bridgewater.
Doug Valeri, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, 405 West Street, West Bridgewater.
Scott Farrier, J.K. Holmgren Engineering, 1024 Pearl Street, Brockton.
Okay, let's hear it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Prior to my representation of Enterprise Rent-A-Car, there was a application submitted for variance and/or special permit, or I should say, or special permit, in regards to 2196 Cranberry Highway. You have the different plans in front of you. I also submitted some additional correspondence today with regard to whether this matter should be allowed by use, or if the special permit is applicable, or variance is required. However it is seen, prepared to address however the board sees it. With regard to that the use should be allowed, I would just respectfully draw to the attention of the board that the zoning bylaws differentiate between, as you know, retail businesses in of itself, which is allowed in this commercial strip district, and subcategories, I would suggest, such as motor vehicle service, motor vehicle sales, which are only allowed by special permit. It was seen so far that the special permit may not be applicable. If in fact it doesn't fit in those categories, I would suggest, by way of argument, that it is a retail outlet. And if it is seen as a retail outlet, because it's not further distinguished in any subcategories, then it would be allowed. And I would suggest that many other towns, and I put in my correspondence, I think one of them was the city of Cambridge, specifically designates what is a retail business, and then they go on to list A through Z almost of subcategories. One of them is the sale of new and used cars and rental agency for automobiles. So, from one perspective, the board may see this as being an allowed use. If the board doesn't see it as an allowed use, then I would suggest that a special permit would be applicable, because it would seem to fit into the subcategories of motor vehicle service, which under the commercial strip would be allowed by way of special permit. If the board doesn't see that either, I am prepared to argue why a variance would be applicable.
All right, well, just a correction, it is lot 1,000, and it's map 103,
Oh, they have had it reversed.
right? It's
Lot
map
1,000.
103, lot 1,000, so.
Okay,
so
thank you.
The notice is right, so you have to advertise. Okay, very well. Apparently, and believe it or not, we were working to fix the bylaw to add this use, because it's not in our bylaw, which is crazy. I mean, you could sell cars there, you could fix them, but you can't rent them. It's just simple. It's not in our bylaw.
It's minutia.
So I personally believe it is a variance, and I think we should, I would like to, I would grant the variance, because I believe it should be allowed use there. If we go forward with the special permit, and somebody appeals, I don't think you'll have a good chance in court, so let's shoot for a variance, and I think it's best for you, and then we'll go forward with the special, with the site plan. How's that?
Very good.
Okay.
With regard to the variance, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as you're all aware, 40A Section 10 sets out the criteria of how and when a variance could be granted. And I know you've heard it 1,000 times, but just for purposes of this discussion, 40A states, owing to circumstances relating to soil conditions, shape, or topography of such land or structures, and especially affecting such land or structures, but not generally the zoning district in which it's located, a literal enforcement of the provisions will create a substantial hardship, but relief can be granted if there's not substantial detriment to the public good. With that in mind, obviously, the variance in many categories makes it somewhat challenging to address some of the issues, but I would suggest here in this particular case that owing to circumstances relating to the soil conditions, shape, or topography of the land, but not affecting generally the zoning district, we do have a natural berm in the rear of the building. And it was consisting of a little bit of raised land, shrubbery, and it's separating this parcel from the adjacent parcels. And I would suggest that this increased activity that's created by this, whether it's a retail establishment, rental establishment, this natural berm that's there would aid in reducing noise in that area. And
Excuse me,
Go
excuse me
ahead.
1 minute.
All right.
Go ahead.
Just for the record, Mr. Akabachi is listening, he's not leaving the room. All right, keep going.
And I would suggest with regard to the hardship is real. The hardship is substantial in this particular case. The enterprise rent-a-car has and is developing a market strategy where they're reducing the size of their establishments. They want to be able to compete. They want to be lean. They want to be able to have people come in and people go out. Here, where it's directly adjacent to exit 2 of Interstate 495, it's a perfect location for that regard. If they have to go down the street, down the road, they're going to lose customers because the market plan, the market strategy that they have in effect requires this accessibility to roadways where people from Taunton, people from Middleborough, people from the Cape, people from Plymouth, people from New Bedford can access this. And without it, it's going to be a substantial hardship for them. And lastly, with regard to any detriment to the public good, I would suggest that this fits in perfectly. I would suggest it's directly related to what's there, which is a gas station across the street.
It used to be a gas station, a lot more traffic
Yeah,
than it is now.
that's right. Substantially reduce the traffic by the use of this, and folks that are bringing their cars back. I know myself, so you can have the facility buy gas at a much higher rate, or you can buy gas, in this case, across the street, usually at a much reduced rate. So I would suggest it fits in perfectly with regard to the surroundings, and the public good would, if anything, be made much better. So based on all of those, I suggest that a variance would be appropriate in this particular case.
And just one thing, I heard you talking about gas. You gonna put tanks back in the ground and pump fuel there?
No.
There's no,
Okay, that's all I
He's
wanted.
talking about gas across the street.
No.
I know, I heard it across the street, but I picked up the potential of competition, but I
yeah,
got it now. I'm
yeah,
good.
not in this particular case,
Okay,
but
we'll start, on the matter of the variance, before we go into site plan, how do you feel about it, Veronica?
I'm fine with the project. I do think that was really lengthy hardship that you gave, but works for me.
Okay. Troy?
I'm good with the project.
Jimmy?
I'm good with the project, I just, if we say it's a variance because it doesn't say car rental, then we're given a variance for car rental. If we say it's a, automotive service, we don't need a variance, but we need a special permit. Am I interpreting it right?
Right.
So you're saying, just give them a variance and we don't have to bother with the special permit?
We do a site plan. We have to do site plan regardless, over 10
Either,
cars.
either or.
Either one.
So we gotta send them away looking for a site plan, or is this it?
Right, we'll get to it. Let's get the
Okay,
house
okay,
the
I'm good
variance
with the
out.
project, so,
Let's get the variance out of the way first. All right, good. Jake, what do you think on the variance part?
Whatever you guys think, variance or special permit.
It's better we go with the variance.
Yeah, then I'll do,
agree.
definitely go with the variance then.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with the variance. Just one quick question. Business hours. I know there's not anybody right next to you. I know you do have that buffer there, but you're not gonna be rolling people in 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, is there?
No.
You won't exceed the gas station next door?
Well, 7 AM to, well, truck rental will be 7 AM to 5 PM, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 9 to 11, and daily rental will be, car rental will be 7:30 AM to 6 PM, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 9 to noon.
Yep. And then any activity that would be going on would be cleaning or,
Bucket washing, correct, yes.
okay.
Now, keep in mind, we granted, is that, you or Enterprise, we granted an industrial park?
Correct.
You?
Yeah. Yes, me.
Sorry.
Specifically, yes.
You're
It's
moving from the industrial park over to here,
We closed that, 2 years ago.
closed it.
Yeah.
Location stuff.
Yeah, it was
People
tough.
to find.
It wasn't, and then we found this location and.
So you're the same company who we
Yes.
granted a variance?
Correct, sir, yes.
I don't think, Veronica, you were here.
Could you give me some clarification on the statement that Jim made regarding the car service, which would be a special permit versus the variance? What's the benefit?
The reason is, we just doesn't exist in our bylaw.
But rather than looking at this project as a car, an automotive
It's not a repair
service, no, but it doesn't say repair, it just says automotive service. It is an automotive service. I just think in terms of being a special permit versus a variance,
What do you want? What do you want? You want a special permit or a variance?
Believe that my client is inclined to go with the variance.
I think service would imply working on cars, repairing cars, you know. AutoZone and all those parts places could be called auto service, they're just selling parts.
We're
They're
supposed
retail.
to amend that,
Yeah, we-
like the bylaw, like we said, and this use is going on the new.
So if we give a
on the new-
variance now, then when it goes on the list,
It's not, it's, nobody could ever appeal it.
It's a
well, you
by
got
right
7 years
use.
Anyway. Yeah, so, I know attorneys like to do it,
do we
right,
need
so
to,
he wants a
do we need to
variance.
vote variance versus, special permit?
No.
Do we
Variance.
just make a decision and then vote?
Vote for a variance, and then we move to
Do we
site
need,
plan.
do we need to, invite the public for any
Yeah, we
input?
do. You have anybody online?
Sonia is the only person in the chat right
Who?
now. Sonia.
Sonia, she wants to complain?
She's the only one here, so there's.
Sonia, not Tony.
She's complaining?
No.
I'm only kidding.
Sonia's listening to make it easier for her to make notes.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's good.
So, okay, so then I'd like her to make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
Of the variance, not the site plan. Okay?
Correct.
Okay, do I have a second on that? On closing for
I'll
variance?
second that.
Second, okay.
Like to share the
All in
wealth.
favor for the variance,
The variance, aye.
say
Aye.
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 Oppose, abstain. Just for the record, Sonia, if you could put, meet statutory requirement of, a variance, MGL 40A, section 10. Okay, now we move to site plan. Did you do a 53G account?
We do not have the 53G.
Okay. I know there's sites there, there's pavement, but it's hacked. Probably needs uplifting. And the drainage probably needs to be fixed. I know in the winter, there was the one towards the courthouse was failing. Probably was never cleaned. That last one in the right corner. So it needs landscaping, facelift, drainage, pavement, curbing. So, and then, of course, you need the garage doors, then you're gonna need a garage floor drain, because you have garage doors. What are you guys gonna do in the floor? You gonna jackhammer it? And-
Yeah, we put drains into a tight tank, so when then we have the tight tank pumped quarterly or whatever.
You're not gonna wash cars inside?
We do wash cars inside.
You gonna wash them?
Yes.
Bucket washing inside when you return
okay.
it after using it, just bucket washing with a sponge, towel it off. Exactly.
correct.
You bring it back, it's gotta get cleaned up before it gets
All right,
rented again.
let me suggest something. Because you have garage doors, you need floor drain. The floor drain has to be connected to a tight tank with a buzzer. Now, if you wash cars, and you should talk to a mechanical engineer, design you 2 tanks to separate the water from the oil, because washing the cars, it goes in that tight tank that also collects oil.
So we do this quite often. We have them so they test it and they treat it as gray water.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna tell you. If you get rid of it as water, DEP catch up with you,
Right.
you get in big trouble.
Correct.
So you test it every time you empty it?
So they test it on initial
Okay.
empty, and then it comes back as gray water. If it came back anything other than, then we would address it.
That
but-
must be very costly to do every time.
JP Noonan does it for us, so they're the waste hauler that does
Wow.
it. So they're a reputable company that we use.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm sure, but if you build 2 tanks, then you don't have to deal with that, but hey, that's your business, guys. You know what I'm saying? You
You're
do
doing
it
it out
2
of a
tanks
tight
with a,
tank- Tight tank?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, I was writing and I wasn't listening, I apologize.
Yeah, no,
You're using a tight tank?
Yes, tight tank, correct.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? If you use 2 tanks that separate oil from water, so the gray water will cost you a lot less to get rid of than testing all this, but if you guys been doing it, working for you, that's fine. All right, so this is how it goes. You get a 53G account, you come back with a facelift for you're gonna do an as-built, which is, I know this is an as-built, I'll get to it quick. But we're gonna see where the curbing damage, and you're gonna fix it. The landscaping, what are you gonna do with it, because it's horrible now. So it's gonna be updated to current bylaws. All the catch basins, just make sure the calculations are right and draining properly or cleaned or whichever. So I'll let you present to us and we'll go from there.
All right, thank you. Again, Scott Farrier, Holmgren Engineering. To be perfectly honest, we weren't expecting or planning to do anything, Mr. Chairman. The drainage was designed properly, installed properly. As far as we know, and obviously, we don't see the site all the time, but as far as we know, there are no flooding issues on site during any heavy rainfall event, so we don't have any reason to believe that there's any issues with the drainage system. As part of Enterprise's normal maintenance on all their facilities, and we've done most of their facilities in the last 10 years throughout the state, we do semi-annual inspections of the drainage system. We do it every fall, basically after leaf fall, and then every spring after they've swept the parking lot and it's clean of sand, we do an inspection of the drainage systems. In this case, we would inspect all the manholes, catch basins.
I didn't say it's not done right. It's probably dirty and he needs to be cleaned.
And that's what I'm saying. As part of our routine inspection, we would do that, and they clean them, clean the structures and pump them out as necessary. But we're not expecting to have to replace the drainage system at all.
No, I didn't say
Okay,
replace it. You gotta address it, it need probably simple cleaning.
Yes, exactly.
It's gotta
And
be
that's-
addressed.
yeah, that's
But
part of
what
our
are you gonna
maintenance.
do with the landscaping? It needs work.
There's a lot of landscaping out there. I don't know if it's, again, we were out
Looking
there.
a little tired. I think what he's asking is for you to
Yeah.
give the place a fluffing up off.
That's what I mean. We were out there, did our survey in December and January, where everything looks tired. So it's hard for us to tell. There's plenty of shrubs out there. Whether they still look tired in June and July, I'll take your word for it. And if that's the case, we'll come up with a new landscaping plan.
Okay, and whatever the curbing gets ruined and damaged, you're gonna fix them?
We certainly will do that. The curb, there's concrete curbing throughout the site, not Cape Cod berm, it's concrete curbing, but there's certainly chunks taken from various
Yeah.
pieces, and they would certainly fix that as part of the move-in,
Okay,
fix those sections of curbing. But I can add those specific sections to the plan.
lighting and all this stuff, is it gonna, I mean, I know I had a few lighting poles that were damaged and stuff.
Yeah, we're purchasing this property, so we're invested here. We're investing in this property, so.
Well, if we, what I'm trying to say, I mean, we met you halfway with the variance, would like you to meet us halfway.
Absolutely, yep.
And make the property look nice, that's all.
And when we do, we're,
We'd love you to see you in town and love you to succeed and everything, but we'd like to see a nice building on that corner.
Yep.
Well-maintained building. It is a nice building, but
Yes.
well-maintained.
yeah.
So Veronica, what do you think on the site plan?
I agree with all your comments. I would like to see those things done.
Okay. Troy?
I agree. I drive by it frequently, and it could use a little sprucing up.
Yeah. Jimmy?
I'm good with it. Enough's been said. I'm good.
Rich?
I'm good with it.
Jake?
Same, I'm good.
Okay. So how does the board feel about it? Do you want them to come back with?
Do you want
with
Charlie to
address
review
and-
this? Is there a reason to have Charlie review this? I don't see it.
There's no reason, but
don't see it.
but I need to see on the plan what, like an as-built, what's going on there, and how you're gonna address it and how you're gonna fix it.
Certainly.
You know, there's a lot of the pavement needs work too. I'm not gonna ask you to repave the whole parking lot, but it's gotta be addressed.
So basically, just clean it up, fix the stuff, fix potholes, make it safe for the public to walk around, clean it up
Right.
a little bit. It's basically all I think we're looking for.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll seal coat, stripe, we're gonna do that, we'll do the nines.
Yeah, and if you can give us that specific plan of what you're gonna do to get it there.
Yep, we can do that.
Okay. All right, so you guys don't see a reason for Charlie or 53G? Jimmy?
The only reason I would see it would be, again, the garage and the floor drain. If it complies with state regulations, every engineer's gonna have a different way of doing it.
No, it's not about the tight plan, about the,
Yeah, so
site,
that would be the only
tank.
reason I'd see, I mean, what else is there? It's an existing, and it's existing.
I know.
And
All right, why don't we come back next plan, like I said, next time on the, what,
yeah,
the
just give us
25th?
an idea what you're gonna do for
The
the
25th,
landscaping. and-
address it on the plan, which light
lighting.
pole is broken, you're gonna fix, the curving, the trees you're gonna replace, whatever. The mulch area, all these things, whatever the pavement's not good, like Richard said, is like it's a hazard for pedestrians, whatever, customers walking around. And, I guess we go from there.
And I also will take the time to just drive through and just overlook the situation, and then when you come to propose it, at least somebody will be able to confirm
I
that that's what you're doing.
I mean, I go right there 10 times a day, so.
Okay.
I haven't been in there since it's closed, so.
Oh, you don't go that way?
Oh, I go that way, but it's been non-existing business.
Yeah.
You pull in there, you get, people look at you.
So,
All right.
so you wanna see the plans changed? Do you wanna see?
No, I wanna
chart-
see where the problem is, let's say a dead tree addressed, a light pole damage fixed, curb broken, where it's gonna be fixed.
Are we giving them a punch list, or are they
No,
just
they
coming
gotta-
back
they
to
gotta
us
do
and
their own.
volunteer?
They do their own, we're
You're gonna
gonna,
beat yourself up and come up and tell us what you're gonna do to make it good.
I'll beat him up so he can spend some money.
yeah,
That works.
She's
And-
she's the check writer, so.
and what we do, we'll go by,
We haven't heard from her yet, though.
we'll go by, look at it, and when you come back with the plan, we'll match what we see and we go from there.
Okay, so we're continuing to, May what?
25th.
Make a motion to continue to May 25th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Troy, you can, sorry, someone else?
Second.
Second by Jake, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
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 Opposed, abstain. So we'll see you on the 25th.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
All right, let's write the as a decision.
So can we discuss the renewals, even though it's not on the agenda?
We, all right.
Oh, it's gonna have to be on the agenda, but
Okay, this is the, yeah, that's what she said. We have Troy and Jim renewal coming for, on June. So, should the selectmen originally said we could just go ahead, make a recommendation, but then she talked to town council, has to be advertised. So, I mean, there's no sense of making a recommendation for both of you now if it's known, if it doesn't mean anything. So next time, she's gonna put it in an agenda.
I
Sonia.
understand, I just want everybody to understand what's going on,
Right.
you know?
We're gonna say, is Jimmy a good guy, you wanna keep him? Either Jake, Richard, me and Veronica are gonna say yes or no, same
He
with Troy.
talks a lot.
Denied.
Oh,
What's that?
Tough crowd.
he said, you talk a lot, she said, you talk a lot, she said denied.
That's okay. That's why I wanna know, so I can know whether to bother coming back, you know?
All right, so we'll keep it, she insisted, the chairman, selectman, that it has to be an agenda. So
It has
that's
to be,
why there's
and
no,
we have to make a, yeah, and there's still one vacant seat for an
Right.
associate.
if somebody listening wants to like to be an associate.
Chris? Is he still on?
Chris
didn't get renewed.
withdrew.
He withdrew, yeah, that's right, he withdrew.
Because he wasn't renewed.
That's why, how I ended up on the solar committee. He went to sit on it, and then he said, can I cover one meeting? And 9 meetings later, they said, thank you very much.
And it seems like all your meetings went for naught, the Attorney General or whatever didn't,
No, it's passed, it's been in front of the town now, it's a new bylaw.
oh, they did work.
The
that too?
committee is dissolved. Now that,
But it didn't go to Attorney General yet, the new. Town meeting.
I don't.
No, it didn't
It
get,
went to the Attorney General beforehand.
the previous one. was
No,
there.
it'll be fine, it just needs to be blessed, you're right, but.
All right, let's write that decision we just, we signed earlier for, Sergi.
I already put it away, but you can,
We signed it already, right?
Oh, okay,
anybody wanna turn anything in on Enterprise?
right here.
My little rubber band back on there.
All right,
You want that paper up in front of you there, Nazir, are you taking this with you, or can I take it?
you can take that.
Okay.
All right, so, if somebody has a chance, go look at, used to be 7-Eleven or the car rental now, and go look at, 413th Street.
Yeah, this is the one that's near Seasons, right? The other corner?
Yeah, it used to be 7-Eleven, next to the courthouse.
Any other business?
Place was busy until the other place got built.
I know.
If there's no other business, I make a motion to adjourn.
You have a second?
Second.
Second by Rich, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain.
How was Costa Rica?
See, that, now we're adjourned, Bob.